everyone, this is Hakaym and welcome back to some more World of Warships, and today I am once again talking about ranked, and this time we're taking a look at what happens once you get up to rank 10. The obvious major difference right now is the fact that rank is now different from the past ranked seasons, where once you reach rank 10 you actually switch tiers, and in this case you're going from tier 8 to tier 10. And it is a little bit different playstyle, and the whole idea behind this is to ensure you don't get pulled down by maybe some bad teammates. Let's actually go ahead and take a look at the teams. We're playing on Hotspot, definitely not one of my more favorite maps, especially due to clan battles a lot. I really have disliked this map. We have a Montana, Republic, Yamato, HIV, Hindenburg, Gearing, Hablash on the enemy team. There's a Conqueror, Republic, Yamato 2, Hindenburgs, Gearing, and a Yu Yang. Now everyone's going to play it differently. Everyone's going to have a ship that they're more comfortable with and more familiar. Now there are very I guess you could say well respected, but ships that are generally used quite common in both clan and ranked battles, and that is obviously going to be the Des Moines, the Moskva, the Hindenburg. Hindenburg is very popular. Gearing, Yu Yang, now recently Shimikaze due to the buff of its detection, and Montana Yamato. Those are probably one of the more popular ships to actually play, and in this instance I'm taking out the HIV. It's what I'm what I'm more comfortable with, and it is probably going to be a little bit more difficult for most players to get it right and survive and actually be beneficial for your team. Now the Hablash is another ship that is kind of a tricky ship. It can be good, especially if very well played. It can definitely help swing the battle, but it is probably not the best destroyer there is. And we do have a Hablash, and we are moving towards C. In this map mode, C is a really good position to go towards. Controlling C is going to ensure that you will keep that area, because it's very difficult to push into C if the enemy team controls it. Now going back to the ship, HIV is going to be far one of the more difficult ships to play as far as cruisers are concerned. That really comes down to a lot of things. First of all, she has a huge detection, 12.7, second only to the Moskva. Moskva does have good armor. It also has a radar, so it's very viable, especially against destroyers and being more aggressive as far as pushing in. While the HIV is more of a cruiser that is going to be fantastic for running around and being a pester as far as actually getting into a much better location to where you can actually deal fairly significant amount of damage. Now I'm not saying the HIV is a terrible ship to play. Played properly, she can be very powerful. She has the largest caliber guns compared to any of the tier 10 cruisers at this point. So she hits pretty hard with her AP. Her HE is pretty good. The only downside is both of the ammo type, obviously, have a very slow reload rate. Not the slowest, but slower compared to the Hindenburg and the Des Moines. And almost even the Moskva, if memory serves. I believe the Moskva is almost right there with the Henri. So very slow reload rate compared to some of the more popular cruisers that you normally experience. And another major issue is going to be her armor. Yes, she actually does have spaced armor, which does allow her to sometimes get away from being hit by AP and not taking a citadel, but it is thinly armored and you generally will eat a lot of HE damage, and that's not very good when you're dealing with other cruisers. For the most part, cruisers will be firing HE and they can melt a Henri down relatively easily. Now the good thing about the Henri is she's a great fire starter. For one shell, we'll just compare one shell because obviously the Zao has additional turret, so it has 12 shots instead of 9. The Henri has the best fire chance compared to any of the other tier 10 cruisers. So she's a good fire starter, and that's what her role is. Really fantastic at starting fires, but even at long ranges her AP is pretty fantastic and can citadel any cruisers that dare show a lot of broadside, so your AP is a very viable option as well. Now in this map we have our Habarosh, and as you may have noticed, our gearing has taken substantial amount of damage, and this is going to be the issue because both of the enemy destroyers have gone to sea, and our gearing has been radared by the Yu Yang. Yu Yang is a very popular choice because it does have radar, which gives it a strength over any of the other destroyers, but unfortunately for us, our gearing is going to go down. And shortly thereafter, our friendly Hindenburg is also going to go down due to the battleships that are starting to push over to this side. And then again, he is sitting broadside. So yes, so starting off, our team's not doing so hot. Now our Habarosh is in cap, and it is preventing the enemy team from actually taking that cap point. However, the Habarosh, compared to any of the other destroyers, does not have really good detection. That means it cannot sneakily escape from a cap, so it does have to be extremely careful. And at the moment, the Habarosh captain is actually currently cornered into that area there. Now, one nice thing, as I did point out, the Henri does have a very good speed, and AP can deal fairly significant amount of damage against enemy cruisers. Now a close range shot like this, you won't get a citadel on a Hindenburg, but once again you can do fairly substantial amount of damage, and that's kind of how the HIV is. It's being able to get into a position where you can actually surprise enemy forces with your AP and deal fairly significant amount of damage. And one downside about the HIV is the fact that her turrets actually turn very slow. It's probably my biggest complaint towards the HIV is just how slow the turrets actually turn, because as you can see, we're waiting for actually quite a while just to get our 2 forward turrets around to actually open up on this Hindenburg. Now this Hindenburg has purposely beached on that island to try to get some shots on our Habarosh that was in that cap. Now this is actually going to prove beneficial, as you will see here in a moment, because the HIV does have 10-kilometer range torpedoes, or sorry, 9-kilometer range torpedoes, and granted they're not the most amazing torpedoes, they still can hit decently hard as well as cause flooding, and the Hindenburg just dealt a torpedo which is going to help bring him down because now he's susceptible to fires, and that's something the HIV is really good at. And it looks like he actually got citadeled by our friendly battleship. Now while this was all happening, we actually have a Republic currently fighting near the A cap, and that's one tactic you can definitely do in this battle is push from B to A. Now that's something not very often you see, is the Habarosh actually took out the enemy conqueror that decided to push in, so that definitely helped our team quite a bit, brought us back up and slightly ahead in points, but we're still in a very dangerous position because, well, we're about to lose our only destroyer. The enemy team still has both their Yu Yang and their gearing, and if left unchecked, they're going to be able to pretty much rule the battlefield, because unfortunately for the HIV, this is one thing she's not particularly good at, is hunting down destroyers. Now if I had RPF, I could probably run them down, because that's a good thing about the HIV is she's quick. She can outspeed all the enemy destroyers except for the Habarosh, so that is one thing going for her. But that's pretty much it, is the speed. Now Yu Yang is obviously pushing up against this Habarosh, does finally take him down. However, with the speed of the HIV, we are now in a position where we can actually counterattack this Yu Yang, and you can kind of see how this battle is going. We lose 2 ships, they lose 2 ships, and we should be able to take out the Yu Yang here in a moment. There we go. Yu Yang just started to disappear, and Yu Yang is now officially dead. Now I do have to be careful because there is a Republic just up to the north of us, and he could obviously easily citadel us. Now where is that gearing? Now we do know the gearing was somewhere in C, and he was... Oh, there he is. He's actually spotted. Secondaries are opening up. It does look like he did drop torpedoes, and we're gonna go ahead and start speeding up, but fortunately he didn't drop those torpedoes quite properly, and do get a good hit on that gearing. However, we do get citadeled by the Republic once again. The armor on the HIV can be finicky at sometimes you can get away with what I'm doing with the spaced armor. However, other times you will get citadeled, but fortunately for us, this gearing is now going to go down, and ouch, another hit from the Republic. But fortunately now an island's in the way. While this was all happening, a Montana was actually pushing up and causing havoc against these two battleships, and now our team is actually in the lead on number of ships, and we should gain control of the sea cap here in a moment and should be able to at least pull ahead a little bit. Now, one other nice thing you need to keep in mind about the HIV is because she does have much larger caliber shells, she can actually do a fairly significant amount of damage against a broadside battleship. Now, yes, it could be argued I should have been using HE, but almost 7k worth of damage against that Yamato left him very low in health, but unfortunately we have just lost our Montana, who was actually spotting. And then it comes down to another factor of the HIV is spotting. You can't really spot. Now the HIV does have hydro, but is the normal hydro that you see on most cruisers, and it's not always the best. Unfortunately for us, the Republic's actually not looking at us, not be able to actually hit us, so we should be fine. And of course we get a fire, but honestly, when you are a cruiser, fires don't last for very long, and you do have a heal, and so I would almost say just let the fire burn. You can obviously heal that back up. Now that our team has both B and C, we can actually take a slight breather because the enemy team has to do something to get back ahead, and the Republic's actually gonna do that. Now we do have a friendly Yamato right behind us who is gonna try to help, but right now my focus is try to take out the enemy Yamato, who was very low in health, but as you can see, he did manage to get some of his health back. And one nice thing about the Republic, or better yet the HIV for that matter, is her engine boost is very beneficial for this kind of tactic, being in a spot where you can open up and you can retreat backwards. So I'm going to use this tactic. Some people probably throw harsh words at me saying that that's not how you should play the HIV. Yes, I've actually had that happen, but it's a good tactic. It ensures that you survive and you can still deal damage. Yamato does get a hit on us, but not enough to kill us, and we do have another heal up in about 30 seconds. So we should be fine, should be able to take out this Yamato here in a moment. Of course, don't kill him, but we do get a fire, and that does mean he does go down. And now our team only has one ship to worry about, and that is the Republic. Now, as I did mention, the Republic is taking matters into his own hand. However, honestly, he probably should have tried to help out his Yamato captain, as he was focused down and is now left by himself. And we should be able to at least get out of here. Now I am being cautious. The HIV does have a very large detection, so I'm actually going to try to pull away at a slight angle to ensure I don't get instantly blapped as soon as I get out of the islands. But it does not look like the Republic's in view range and detection range, so we should be fine, which does lead me to deduce that in fact the Republic is currently going for our cap. As you can see, he's actually just on the northern side of B, which is not a bad idea. However, there is still 5 minutes left, and there is obviously the advantage of 2 different ships on our team versus only 1. So good idea for my ship to in fact do is go and capture A. And this is one nice thing about the HIV. She can play the role of a destroyer by getting to caps very, very quickly. because once again the HIV is a very fast cruiser. With the engine boost she can get up to 43.9 knots, which makes her very viable at being able to get into a different position, as I have mentioned many times, and being able to help sway the outcome of the battle. So at the moment, that is what I'm currently doing. I'm going to quickly get to A. Yamato is going to take up position in at C, ensure that the Republic does not make its way back and try to take out our enemy Yamato. So we're going to quickly and quietly, once again the downside of the HIV is her very high detection. Now, fortunately for us, we do have a little bit of breathing space. The Republic is now obviously spotted, and good thing about the fact that we do have a Yamato. A Yamato can overmatch armor with its very large shells, so very nice thing. We can at least be able to deal significant amount of damage with that Yamato. Now, one obviously downside of the Republic, and that's why she's probably not the most ideal ship while playing clan or ranked, is the fact she only has 2 turrets, which does kind of limit on how much damage she can actually put out. Granted, they are much larger caliber shells than most of the other battleships, but still that's only 8 shells versus what you mostly see at 9 and 12. So that is the major downside, but at the moment, yeah, as you can see, the Republic is currently focusing us, but even then we should be fine. We just have to survive because the counter is almost all the way to 1,000. Just have to survive a little bit longer, and in a moment this Republic is going to go down. So this is actually going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you saw, hit the like and subscribe button. You guys have a great and fantastic day. Zaijian.